Welcome back to another edition of looking at Railborn developmental update. We're going to be looking at track switching. How is Railborn different from other railroad games? Looking at the auto tester, what is it and why do we need it? How do two developers test multiplayer? Will Railborn support mods at launch? And any news on joining the playtest or the alpha? First off, for the folks who have not seen this game, Railborn is a survival game where you build your train piece by piece and navigate a world entangled by branching tracks. Keep in mind there's two developers, Taki and Smash from Washbear Studios, and now Railborn is the top 63rd wish-listed game on Steam with nearly 30,000 new followers since the game was announced. Whether you've been following this game since the announcement or just discovering this game today, let's dive right in and see what's new. Looking at track design seems fairly trivial. Honestly, you just take an engine and you either go forward or you switch tracks. But Railborn made this a little bit more complicated, and if life could be a little bit simpler, Railborn would normally have a front of the engine and the back of the rail cars. But in this case, because Railborn is built piece by piece, you choose where your front of the engine is. It could be in the front, it could be the back, top, bottom, left, right, everywhere else in between. But since they're allowing this train to be built piece by piece, that leaves it up to the player to decide what is the front, not necessarily the developer, so much more freedom of choice. Then how do you address the UI? That means then you have to present the player with a UI to switch tracks, but if you put the switcher in the very back of your train, you would think this would flip and intuitively not make sense, but what they're looking to do is have players choosing the ability to put their train controlling components piece by piece wherever they choose to. It could be up at the very top again, it could be in the very back, wherever you want it, and you create your own cockpit. So how do they plan to do this? A track switcher is necessary and is a needed item in the game. This has the digital display. You could switch it to go left, straight, backwards, forward, whatnot, and the display will always show the upcoming intersection path option. Keep this in mind for just a second, folks. This means, how do we know where the next intersection is? That means the only way to tell what the next intersection is using a world icon that displays the distance and the path chosen. That means you have an ability to see what's happening ahead of you in the game before you reach that intersection, and you could choose at that point in time to go left, right, straight, up, down, backward, whatever you need to do in that span of time up until you hit the switch. Now, if you accidentally change the direction of the train, and if you're looking in the wrong direction, you can still roll the train backward, and the switching component will tell you the right direction of travel based on the switch that is occurring behind you as you are rolling backwards. One of the advantages here of doing this, when they put this component together, they made it so it can sync up, and you can have two of these track switchers, one in the front, one in the back, one on the top, one on the bottom. All of them will be synced up and lined up in the direction of travel, and will be able to tell you, no matter where you are, what direction the train is actually going. So this means you could theoretically put a switcher in your storage cabinet, put that in there, open the closets, and you know exactly what's going on up ahead and make changes on the fly as you look out the window. Now, this is currently what they have in mind for track switching, but the folks that are going to be involved in early access and or the playtest, this may change the opinion of what this is going to look like depending on how the players perceive this, how the players find value in this track switcher. Looking at auto testing, they develop a system that creates a Railborn check-in system to the repository, and this automatically loads up Railborn on their old laptop that's running at 1660 Ti. In case you didn't watch the other videos, the minimum spec is a 1660 Ti. If you want to know more about that, hit up the other video and watch that, and then come back to this video and continue on, or choose to continue watching this video and follow up with the next video after. The test performs a few in-game operations would then spit back performance details about FPS, draw calls, GPU usage, along with other benchmarks, and this becomes really handy because it lets them know what addition to the game caused a performance hitch. In the case of what you're seeing on screen here, you can easily identify what's going on because you want everything to be in green, and as soon as you start seeing red areas, that means you're no longer hitting the minimum spec target for a GPU. In this case, they're aiming for a 1660 Ti. Now, considering multiplayer, Taki did have a recent update about this, and multiplayer, of course, once again crashed, as you can clearly see right here in the screenshot. What we have to know is the developers self-hosting their own test servers. Yes, according to Taki, they absolutely are, and no, it is not some fancy thing. It is literally a server in a basement, and this exists at Smash's place wherever the heck he lives. He hosts a repository of everything, and that means Taki has nothing to worry about in his house. This happened to be a change from Parkasaurus. Originally for Parkasaurus, they did testing in the cloud, but this started to cost money. In order to get the money bang for your buck, so to speak, they opted to figure out how can we increase our storage to a gazillion terabytes for not very much money. Therefore, a gazillion hard drive covered in dust and cobweb living in the basement besides a fridge, according to Taki. Hard drive space is indeed cheap, and therefore it might have been a headache initially, but now it is all smashes problems. They use something called Perforce, and Perforce as a website is an enterprise development operation tool. And as you can clearly see here, you have things involving financial institutions, semiconductor companies, customers, global, etc. It is a platform that accelerates innovation and enables compliance with all-in-one data delivery, making the platform for development, operation, test data management, AI, and data protection, as well as providing quality, scalable versions, etc., etc., etc. What's important here is being able to tell and make smarter decisions with AI-powered insights, improving efficiency, identifying bottlenecks, and unlocking continuous optimization for code to production. According to Taki, Perforce is considered spotty but manageable. The only reason Taki says Perforce is a little bit on the spotty side is not so much the server, but it's more of the client-facing version of the P4V. It's probably a user error issue or even a ghosting issue. Otherwise, Perforce or P4V plays very nicely with Unreal, and he's not complaining. He's going to keep right on using it. Taki here is going to keep using this as a test server in order to determine whether or not the game works. They used to use SVN before this, which was very easy to use, but wasn't very good for what they needed for Parkasaurus, and decided to make the switch for Railborn. We have a fairly big fan base that probably wants to know, is this game going to be moddable? Now, Taki says they've always been mod curious. It's essentially a wait and see at this point. It's too early to tell. Honestly, the game hasn't come out, so what can we even mod anyways, right? To think about it, putting in a mod system requires resources, and if you can decide on which way do you want to go, do you want to put in a mod system that takes resources, and changing a little thing means potentially redoing all the testing and redoing the builds in some cases just to make that mod system work? Or if do you want to redirect this and put it into another area? For example, in the work for a mod system, every time something is added to the game, there tends to be a cascading effect on bugs and extra work, and that means the focus starts to shift onto modding. If the game does really well, then maybe a mod system might come in at that point. Even if there is no official modding support per se for the game, you have to ask yourself honestly, would you rather have the game developer spending a month building a mod system, putting that in, testing it, and spending all the extra work dealing with the bug? Or would you rather have the developer spending the month adding in new features to the game, adding in free updates and things like that that makes the game enhanced and better? Which way would you go with this? It's up to you guys to decide. You can leave me a comment down below. What do you prefer? Would you rather have this game have mods on board, or would you rather have it focus more on features? Now, of course, everybody always keeps asking, when is the playtest coming? When is the alpha coming? Of course, Taki said last time, no one is participating in anything yet. This is all just internal. Of course, it's not going to be today. He knows that, but he did say he's going to go on a limb and say probably not by the end of the week either. So what does this mean? Of course, according to the FAQ, which will be down below in the description, they plan to release early access sometime in 2026 with the demo playtest coming sometime in 2025. Folks, we still have a few more months of 2025 left, so don't worry, it will get here when it gets here. As of right now, no concrete dates for any of this. With that said, keep in mind the updates on the Discord for Washbear Studios and the updates on Steam. Alright guys, thank you for tuning in. Of course, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more, and speaking of more, if you'd like to know what else might be coming to Railborn, watch the next video starting right now.